Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another important live video update. Tonight I'm going to be sharing some interesting facts and figures with you that I think everybody needs to be aware of. Now, we're finishing up another weekend without the restoration of our rights, our freedoms, our liberties yet again. We're finding that in most states and territories, people are now starting to mix and mingle socially, some up to groups of 5, some up to groups of 10, some even more. And yet we haven't seen any great spike in the number of infections of COVID-19, despite the fact that people are breaking quarantine and mixing and mingling with others now, that you would usually expect to find if this thing was really as, so contagious as the government keeps telling us. So really tonight I want to get people thinking about some actual statistics that really hopefully put everything in perspective. So another thing to remember about quarantine, it wasn't that long ago when people were flying in from overseas, they were being told they had to hole up in a hotel for 2 weeks, that's it, and then they were fine to go about their business, yet we've all been locked up for 8 weeks. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay? Now, what about the fact that 91% of the 7,106 cases that we currently have in Australia have actually recovered? How come we're not hearing about that in the media? Okay, and given that such a high number of people have recovered from this ridiculous COVID-19 virus, okay, why are we still talking about the need for a vaccine? Okay, we didn't have a vaccine for SARS or swine flu or bird flu. Why is it so necessary that we have a vaccine for COVID-19 when so many people have recovered completely naturally? Okay, we still keep hearing about the flu shot for anyone working in aged care or healthcare facilities, yet we've got a flu vaccine, but between 1,500 and 3,000 people still die here in Australia every year from the flu, despite the fact that we've got a vaccine for it. Okay, we've had only 103 deaths from COVID-19 and most of them were elderly and or had pre-existing conditions. Now, yes, it's very sad that those people have passed on, but with all due respect, they were most likely to anyway. Okay, why have we shut down 90% of the country when 90% of the people who get this are going to fully recover anyway? Does that make any sense? Okay, we've been shut down for 8 weeks despite quarantine supposedly only having to last for 2 weeks. What is going on? Okay, the hospitality industry has been severely impacted. The tourism industry has been absolutely decimated. Okay, the entertainment industry has been severely impacted. And these are just some of the obvious ones that come to mind. Okay, there's plenty of others out there. Okay, but ScoMo and all of his mates at the top end of town, the big department stores, the banks, okay, all the big businesses, they've been trading right throughout these past 8 weeks. Okay, let's not forget JB Hi-Fi, Anaconda, BCF, stores like this have traded all the way through, yet we couldn't even go boating, camping and fishing for like 4 weeks in most states anyway. So how come they've been allowed to continue when everyone else has essentially been shut down? The mums and dad businesses, are going to be lucky to survive this. Okay, parents are going crazy, ripping their hair out, trying to homeschool, their kids. Okay, the kids are going crazy. They're getting increasingly frustrated because they're just not able to learn, most of them, as effectively as they are in in the actual school environment where they've got a bit of, the structure about them. They can access their teachers when they need to. This is affecting so many industries, and now we're being told, oh yeah, look, kids can go back to school and they don't need to socially distance because apparently they're magically immune to it. Okay, I mean, this is just nuts. Now here's some more figures for you. Okay, the government estimated that 6.5 million people, okay, we're going to be on JobKeeper, but the reality is that was only ever going to possibly save about 1 million jobs. Now, okay, the papers have come out reporting just a couple of days ago that the reality is it's only 3.5 million people on JobKeeper. Now, how do you get it so monumentally wrong? They estimated 6.5 million. It's actually only 3.5 million. Okay, they're talking about this being the biggest miscalculation in Australian history, yet people still trust their government. Look at that hashtag on the top of the description. Do you trust your government? I mean, would you trust the government when they get it so wrong so often? Okay, you seriously got to start asking some big questions now. We're honestly looking at a 10% unemployment rate, okay, by the middle of this year. All right, and we still haven't actually seen the true impact or the true financial impact of this yet. Okay, Roy Morgan's actually reported that 27.4% of the workforce is now either unemployed or underemployed. Okay, the NAB, National Australia Bank, has reported that 40% of Aussies are experiencing financial stress. The ABC has reported that over 600,000 Aussies, okay, have applied for early release of their super, okay, because they're struggling to meet their commitments, and over 13 million Australians, okay, that is half our population, have no emergency savings to fall back on. Half our population have no savings to fall back on. Now, with these kind of figures, is it any surprise to anyone out there that suicides have increased dramatically? Domestic violence cases have done the same. Okay, and apart from the financial toll being completely disproportionate to the actual death toll, you know, we're talking about millions and millions and millions of people being adversely financially affected. Only 100 people have died. Okay, there's now actually more deaths because of the lockdown, okay, than were being prevented by the lockdown. Now, 500 doctors recently wrote to President Trump urging him to please end the shutdown. Now, you can look this up online. It says the title is 500 doctors tell Trump to end the coronavirus shutdown, say it will cause more deaths. Now, this is straight out of the Washington Times. Now, this is what they say very quickly. Hundreds of doctors wrote a letter to President Trump this week asking him to end the coronavirus shutdown, saying it is a mass casualty incident spurring deaths from other factors such as substance abuse and suicides. The letter shared online estimates about 150,000 Americans each month that the shutdown remains in place would have had new cancer detected. Millions more are missing dental exams that could discover problems linked to heart disease, while others are experiencing domestic violence like child abuse. Suicide hotline phone calls have increased 600%. The letter sent to the president on Tuesday read. It also notes liquor sales have increased 300 to 600% and cigarette sales have gone up as well. The letter adds, we are alarmed at what appears to be a lack of consideration for the future health of our patients. It's impossible to overstate the short, medium and long-term harm to people's health with a continued shutdown. Dr. Simone Gold, an emergency medicine specialist, authored the letter, which was signed by more than 500 other physicians. Okay, now yes, all right, that's in the US, but you know, only a moron would think we weren't facing exactly the same problems right here, right now in Australia. Okay, this is crazy numbers, and it's just insane what's actually going on with this ongoing lockdown. You know, does ScoMo care? Not at all. He's only worried about his mates at the big end of town, and the state premiers are even worse. Okay, it's out of control. It's got to stop, and it's got to stop now. But they're not going to stop unless we, the people, band together collectively, okay, and force them to stop. This is why we need people sending the My Will letters, okay, that you will find in our Know Your Rights book. We need to bombard these, you know, parliamentarians, our representatives, and remind them they exist to do our bidding, not the other way around. They are required. They have an obligation, okay, to express our will, the will of the constituents on the floor of Parliament. And we have an obligation to express that will through those My Will letters to our parliamentarians. Okay, and then we need to hit the streets. We need to take serious action. Okay, now there's a bunch of events, rallies and the like being organised for this coming weekend on Saturday the 30th of May. We're actually going to be speaking to the organiser of those events on our show on Tuesday night, so please make sure you tune in for that. It's been between 8 and 10 p.m. on Tuesday night, and just go to our website knowyourrightsgroup.com.au/radio-show, and you can just listen to it free on air off a tablet, phone, off your computer, whatever you like. Okay. So please make sure you tune in on Tuesday night. And as I've said many times on their radio shows, on these updates, people need to learn about their rights and they need to take real action. Now, I'll tell you what, if those facts and figures have got you thinking, you want to see the sort of facts and figures that are covered, okay, in that bank secrets book. Okay, the fraud that the banks commit every single time they engage in a home loan, and then the simple step-by-step process that you can use and you can go through to challenge any unsecured debt, personal loan, credit card, anything like that. Now, you want more facts and figures? Okay, grab the Aussie Speeding Fines book. There's been international studies done that show that the speed, which is the biggest killer on our roads, or so they claim, is actually only a factor, not even the factor, a factor in 5% of accidents. The number of problems with the speed detection devices, the number of flawed and faulty devices that are out there being used, it will absolutely blow you away. It is so simple and so straightforward to beat most traffic fines, in fact most fines of any description. And again, you can learn that step-by-step process in that Aussie Speeding Fines book. So, as we wind up yet another weekend, I would urge you, as always, please get real, get informed, get fired up, and take action, and let's make some changes. Because otherwise, I'm going to be standing before you again in another week or another month, rattling off a whole bunch more statistics that are going to only end up frustrating even more people. We now have the power. We, the people, can stand together collectively, we can take action, and we can change these figures from being reported again. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. I look forward to speaking to you all on Tuesday night on our radio show. Until then, take care, stay safe as always.